Hello. Hello, good people of the VC and anyone else watching. I'm another fat bearded man talking about records, but when I walk down the road, people shout, Hedley! Hedley! Oi! Oi! Hedley! Not sure who he is. Anyway, it's not long after my last video, but I thought I'd do another one because I'm procrastinating doing the stuff I should really be doing. So by doing this, I'm making anyone that watches this implicit in my failures. So just let that be known to all of you. Right, I'm going to do an all country music roundup of picks that I've done recently because they're backing up, and it does mean that maybe the next one, it won't all be country music, but this one is. But it is country music of all kinds of genres, and I'm starting to lose my voice. Is it getting sexy? Is it getting sexy, my voice? No, it's not. Right, okay, so I'm going to start. So the first one, this is the Flying Burrito Brothers, Close Up the Honky Tonks. This is 1968 to 72, which is basically the Gram Parsons period. This is a double, which collects probably half of the first two albums. Is it Burrito Deluxe and Gilded Palace of Sin? The other way around, I think they released. So it's got all the stuff you would want on it. The only one it hasn't got, which is one of my favourite, is Lazy Days. But I didn't have any Flying Burrito Brothers on vinyl. I'm a big Gram Parsons fan. Something to do with the fact that he died the day I was born. I don't think they're connected, but you can never be too sure. But yeah, this is actually it's an interesting record because it does have some singles and some sort of extras that weren't released. And the last disc is kind of post Parsons material, which is pretty good actually. It's all right. I was moved to think about actually picking up some later Burrito Brothers and seeing what they're like. So, because of that, I found this. Now this is, I'm going to open this one up. This is the Burrito Brothers, lack of the flying you'll notice, Back to the Sweetheart of the Rodeo. And this is actually a release from 1990, and it's originally, well, I think only released, I think maybe it did have a CD release, but only released in Italy. They were obviously big in Italy, and this is a double album. Now, somewhere there is a country rock family tree video for me to do, which kind of explains all the various people that come and go from all these bands. But there are some key records kind of missing from my collection to kind of help make up that family tree. But if I get those, I might think about doing one of those. But yeah, so this is ostensibly the same band, but with none of the original players. I mean, they do call themselves the Burrito Brothers. But it's got an interesting thing in here. So this is John Belland. Anyway, he has joined the band, and with Gib Gilboe. Now, Gib Gilboe was in a load of different bands. He was in Nashville West, which I think I've shown actually, and various other things, and solo records. But this has got an interesting thing from this John Belland. He talks about it wasn't easy to constantly be in the shadow of the legendary founder Gram Parsons, but in all due respect, Gram never achieved commercial success with the band. He's basically saying that they had better success than Gram Parsons, which might be the case, but he's obviously got a chip on his shoulder as Mr. Belland. There they are at the back. I think that's Belland and that's Gilboe. Yeah, basically they went into the studio and recorded that for Italy. Aren't the Italians lucky? It's not bad. Oh yeah, so the first side, sorry, I've not said anything about it. The first side really worried me. Very Eagles-like. Not even. I mean, I don't like the Eagles, but not as good as the Eagles, and it was poor. I mean, it's 1990, so you get the idea of the kind of the period. But I thought, all right, I'll turn it over, and I played the rest, and the rest is really nice, sort of more traditional sounds of country, with the sort of a bit like the Flying Burrito Brothers. So yeah, some awful stuff on here, but some really good stuff. Okay, I'm going to put my glasses away. I don't think I need them. Okay, this is Wilma Lee and Stony Cooper and the Clinch Mountain Clan. This is old-timey string band. I'm not going to say bluegrass, although it does have elements of that in here. They were on the Grand Ole Opry back in the day, in the 1950s, and they produced a kind of a traditional country. And actually, when all the sort of other bands that were around them started to go all Nashville sound, they stuck to the guns and stayed traditional, which commercially probably wasn't very good for them, but they remained on the Grand Ole Opry for a long, long time. And this is on County Records, incredibly boring label. And it's early recordings, so these are from basically 1949 to 51. So that gives you an idea. Yeah, nice folky country. Opposite end of the spectrum, Rank and File. This is, I believe, their second album. Rank and File, kind of a cowpunk. This is from '84. This is after Alejandro Escovedo left the band, although they do thank him on the cover. Nice album. It's on the Slash or London Records. I always pick up those, whatever they produce. There's a load of bands that they did rootsy kind of music, and Los Lobos were on there, the Bodines. I think the Violent Femmes, although I don't have any Violent Femmes on vinyl. But yeah, great cowpunk. The Kinman Brothers, Chip and Tony. They would start, after this, they'd start Cowboy Nation, which are also worth checking out in the early 90s. The Louvin Brothers. This is Sing Their Hearts Out. This is an English or a British, it says made in England. C for Miles Records. Don't know that label. And it's a collection of various things of their kind of gospel country, close part harmony, kind of precursor to the Everly Brothers. Great stuff. Of course, they're famous for the Satan is Real, completely mad album cover. I'm not familiar with many of the songs on here, but it's from the sort of the early 60s, this, so it's just before Ira Louvin died, probably some of the last recordings. Loretta Lynn, this is called I Lie. Now this was in shrink and I opened it. No, I didn't open it, that's a lie, and I'll tell you why I know that's a lie. This is from 80 Time for the Glasses, 1982 on MCA. Anyway, so I looked at this and I thought, oh well, it's kind of in shrink. It's going to be in good condition. So I pulled it out, and then I discovered that this is actually Eddie Grant. And I went, oh no! Oh God, I thought this was Loretta Lynn. It's Eddie Grant, and it doesn't even have any of the songs I know by him either. So I thought, oh well. And I looked, and I got the record out, and the record is Loretta Lynn. So I was like, phew, thank the Lord for that. But then I put it on, and I wish it was Eddie Grant. It is an awful, awful, awful album. Who's it produced by? Owen Bradley. Owen Bradley, he was a great producer, and this is just, it has got some of the most awful kind of synthesizer noises that just do not go with the music. It's, yeah. Do you know, I might actually get rid of this because it is so awful. It's a real shame because Loretta Lynn is an incredible talent. she deserves better than that. The 80s did not serve some of these country greats well. It really didn't. Tom Paul Glaser, of the Glaser Brothers, Charlie. I bought this, I think, on Discogs because I saw it had him doing a cover of Sold American, which is a Kinky Friedman song, the title of his first album. So I thought, oh, that's cool. I'll pick that up. And actually, that track and a couple of others are produced by Kinky Friedman. He writes a bit of some of the liner notes on the back, and also one of the tunes is co-produced by Waylon Jennings as well. It's great, sort of. He was one of the outlaw movement guys, basically, and yeah, that's what this is. It's got "I'll Fly Away" medley, which is "I'll Fly Away" and "I Saw the Light," so kind of gospely stuff. And yeah, and Sold American. The other stuff I'm not familiar with, but a really good sounding album. And he's got a bit of a strange voice, but it's growing on me. The Glaser Brothers did a kind of all kinds of different things, very eclectic. Some of it's straight ahead country, some of it's very sort of poppy during the 60s. And yeah, this is the sort of outlaw movement, more rocky country. This is the Kendalls. Now this was still in shrink wrap, and it still is. I have opened it, of course I have, because I listened to it. I'd originally seen these guys, and I'd gone, oh, they look awful. Look at them. Oh, terrible. That's going to be bad country, I thought. And then I watched a video that Memphis Vinyl Jim and the Missus did, and they showed a Kendalls album, and they said some good stuff about it. So I thought the next time I'll see this, I only paid £1 for it, I'll pick it up. And it's really good. Although it's from 79, so it's starting to get into the era of some of the sort of production that I don't generally like. But they have a very acoustic sound, which is brilliant. And actually, it's mostly Giannini. Is that Giannini Kendall and Royce Kendall? Giannini? That's not how you spell Janine. No, it's Giannini. Giannini and Royce. Now, you'd have thought it'd be duets, but actually it isn't. It's mostly her singing. And she's got a voice not too dissimilar from Dolly Parton, which is no bad thing. And he adds some very subtle harmonies kind of underneath. Very nice stuff. Mostly cheating songs. I think that's what they kind of specialised in. And yeah, so very, very nice album. Sadly, I think Royce died in the early 90s, and Giannini Kendall tried to make it on her own, but didn't really manage it. This is on the Ovation record label. So yeah, if you're interested in traditional sounding country, the Kendalls are great. Talking about traditional country, we got Roy Acuff, probably the first star of the Grand Old Opry. This is hand clapping gospel songs. So Roy Acuff and his Smoky Mountain Boys. I was so pleased to find this. I was in a charity shop and I saw this, and I picked up another one that I'll show later. And you know when you think you've fallen across a sort of a mother lode. And I did, but unfortunately there was only about 3 albums. But there was a Patsy Cline that was very good as well. Actually, I might have shown that. But yeah, this is on the Hickory label. This is from... Oh, it doesn't say. Of course, it doesn't say. I think it's from early 60s, and it's what it says: hand clapping gospel songs. Some great stuff on here. I Saw the Light. This that Glory Bound Train. I'll Fly Away. There we go. I Fly Away and I Saw the Light. The medley that the Glaser, Tom Paul Glaser was doing. Yeah, marvellous stuff. Very traditional sounding country with the gospel tinge to it. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now, Graham, not Grebo 69, it's Cracking Vinyl. He's been getting into, well, he's got a couple of records by Tom T. Hall. And I was saying to him the other day, he showed one the other day, and I was saying to him, I kind of have a love-hate affair with Tom T. Hall. Some of the stuff he does is great. So I picked this up. This is the Rhymer and other five and dimers, and this is from 1973, and this has got some great tunes on it, like Don't Forget the Coffee Billy Joe, Spokane Motel Blues, and it's got a cover version of Old Five and Dimers Like Me, Billy Joe Shaver, and this was released in the same year that both Billy Joe Shaver released a version of it on his own album, and Waylon Jennings released a version on it. So he did quite well out of that song that year, did Billy Joe Shaver. So that is a wonderful sounding album, really nice stuff. Now, 1974, he releases this, and this is For the People in the Last Hard Town, and this is 74, and it's chalk and cheese. It's almost like he used all of his best tunes on the previous one, and he had nothing left for this. It is dull, dull, dull. I put this on, and every song sounds the same. So what can I say about Tom T. Hall? Sometimes when he's good, he's very, very good, and when he's bad, he's horrid. Yeah, I mean it's good. I mean it's all right. It passes, but rather dull. Okay, a couple more to go, and then I'll call it quits. Charlie Rich, Silver Linings. This is a gospel. Quite a lot of gospel this time, isn't there? I clearly like a bit of gospel, and this is a great sounding album. I was discussing with James, the vinyl professor, some of the production work by Billy Sherrill, or Sherrill, and sometimes he can be, as I said, full-on baroque with knobs on, Nashville sound, strings and choruses and vocal stuff. It's that sort of cliched almost, but he's kind of high church when it comes to that. Is Billy Sherrill, and this couldn't be further from it. This is very stripped back. It's mostly Charlie on the piano, although I'm not sure it is him on the piano. Yeah, it does have backing vocals by the Jordanaires and the Holidays, which I assume were the female group, and the Nashville Edition. So it's not just him, but they're very subtle. They work very well, and there's an almost funky kind of rawness to this. Very nice album. If you see this out there, pick it up. It's a great sort of rock, gospel, country record. Last one, Mike Lunsford. Never heard of him before I saw this, but it was on Star Day and it was sealed, so I thought I'd pick this up. And it's a very, very strange album. He does, and this is his first album, so it's not like it's gleaned from lots of others. It's not a compilation, and it's a very eclectic record. It's got some very slurpy country. That's like I was saying, that sort of almost Nashville sound stuff. But then it's got pop on it. It's got a cover version of Sugar Sugar, and it's also. But then on the B side, it's got a really good version of Proud Mary by Creedence, and a song called Snake River Canyon, which sounds really good. And I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to leave you with Snake River Canyon because I think it's a little gem, and seeing as it's nobody heard of it, I don't think I'm going to get into trouble. So I'm going to do a needle drop on that. So Mike Lunsford on Star Day, bit of a weird record, but some cracking tunes on it. Okay, that's it. I will say goodbye. So until I see you again, bye bye for now.
Well, it ain't no way to cross Snake River Canyon. You gotta have wings to fly. Before I'd ride your bike across Snake River Canyon, I'd wait until the river runs dry. Well, you jumped your bike with a lot of happy landings, but you've had a few spills and falls. You bragged and said jumps that made you famous, still I don't wanna ride with you. They called you a fool or an ignoramus, but you're doing what you gotta do. If the jumps you make just keep a-getting wider, then where you gonna meet your fate? If the ramps you make just keep a-getting higher, will you finally jump the pearly gates? 'Cause there ain't no way to jump snake.